now by the Cincinnati Bearcats head coach Troy Caupain and the preseason co-player of the year, Troy Caupain. Coach, we'll start with you. Picked to finish first in the preseason coaches poll. How does that affect your, mindset going into this season, knowing that the coaches have picked you guys to win the league, but there is still a whole season of basketball left to be played?
Well, all I care about is I got the player of the year in the league. So it's all about players. You look at our roster of coaches in our conference, you're not out coaching anybody, especially in this league when you start adding guys like Tubby Smith and Johnny Dawkins, Coach Dunleavy, with all his pro experience to our roster. So it's all about players the way I look at it. So I'm just glad this guy's on my team, Gary Clark and some other guys as well.
Coach, congrats on 2 wins last year, by the way. And I know Troy doesn't want to talk about himself, so we're going to let you do it for him. But how great is it to have a self-motivated player like Troy, but also someone that you can rely on from a senior leadership standpoint? You know, Troy just knows how to win games. How confident are you in him throughout the course of the year?
Well, it's a huge thing. In college basketball is controlled by guards, with no 5-second count on the dribbler, and they've lowered the shot clock. Guard plays everything. So I always say you got to have returning guards, but you want to have a great returning guard. So we have Troy and Kevin Johnson's a winner too, his senior backcourt mate. But Troy's been through a lot the last few years, having to make a lot of plays and take the brunt of what goes on at the end of games. So the one thing he's been down the road of having to make the big shot or miss the big shot, and that toughens you up as time goes on. It makes you a better player. It motivates you going forward. You'd rather have a guy that's been in that situation than have to develop that guy on the fly. So you're going into this year, obviously it's big to have him with us, and he's had all those big shots in his pocket.
Troy, congratulations on being named preseason player of the year. It has to be kind of surreal heading into your senior season now. Just all this time has passed at Cincinnati, probably pretty quickly for you. What would you say is the area of your game where you feel like you've grown the most?
I think I slowed down, as a player. Noticing what goes on the floor 1 through 5, not just, looking late at it. I think before, it's about seeing it before, and then being able to talk to my teammate, more as an understanding level, seeing them on the court and just making sure they're in the right position.
So, being one of the top point guards in the country, I'm going to continue to bother you here, but you have an incredible skill set. Everybody loves watching you play. What did you specifically work on during the summer for your individual game to get you ready for this year?
One thing I'm working on, I'm still working on, is being ready to catch off the ball, to catch it and go, every time I catch it before making that decision. And I think, the offseason and now coach still being on me about it, it's something that we're,
I had to get you one time just to make coach happy.
Right. It's something that, we're still working on, but, it's a work in progress, but it's coming, faster than it is. Just being ready, off the ball, going to catch the ball downhill, and then just looking to be that player, looking to be that guy, instead of it being, late clock or, when the clock is low, 2 minutes left in the game, just having it, the first 18 minutes of the first half instead of the last 2 minutes of the second.
Coach, while your team has generally been known to maybe play a more defensive style of play, there's some real potential this year for you to have some offensive weapons. Do you think we'll see a different style of play at all from you this year?
I think we've lost my mic, so I'm ad-libbing on the fly. Well, I think we're going to score as much as we can. I think to really answer your question, Troy being aggressive all the time is something that's important for us. Not looking to just be passive and then be aggressive late. Kyle Washington's a big addition for us when it comes to our offensive game. We're more concerned about his defense, but that's Troy's job to get him up to speed. But I think we'll be a much different team offensively because our big guys can shoot. So hopefully we'll be able to be much better on the offensive end and still as efficient on the defensive end.
That's a game changer when you got a post player like Kyle Washington that can play both ends of the floor. How excited are you to have a guy like Kyle to play with in pick and roll situations and kind of alleviate maybe some of the double teams in the pick and roll that you've been facing?
It's actually real good to have a stretch big because it's confusing on the defense. They don't know what they're going to do. They don't know if they're going to stop the ball or if they don't know if they're going to get back to him. So it's kind of about the scouting report of how the other coach wants to play. But for us, it's kind of an advantage for us because he has a back to the basket game, that's superb, and he can knock down the 3-point shots, which stretches out the defense, which gives more room for us guards, me, Kev, Jacob, for us to get downhill into the paint and make plays.
Troy, knowing this is it for your collegiate career, what are your emotions like heading into the season?
It's bittersweet. It's tough because I know that this is my last go-round, and then it's about heading to the real world next, and I'm actually really excited. But it's tough because this is the life that I've been living, for 3.5 years. I'm kind of not got used to it, but it's gonna be tough, leaving the teachers I made, the friends that I made. No more Cincinnati life. It's about where the world's gonna take me next.
And Coach, you've stated that Troy Caupain just knows how to win. How contagious is that in terms of just spreading to the rest of the team?
Well, it's a huge thing. Whenever you have a guy that tries to carry on your culture of winning, he took on that role when Sean Kilpatrick graduated for us, Troy's a natural leader for a young guy. So there's not many seniors sitting up here 20 years old right now, and that's usually with prep school and redshirt, you had 20-year-old freshmen. So it's a big advantage for me. I lose my security blanket. You start talking about him leaving, I don't like to hear that.
Sorry.
But we're excited about the year. Whenever you can watch somebody grow up and evolve the way Troy has and with some of his teammates, it's probably the funnest part of coaching. Keeps you young, the evolution of it all. And to be able to hear him talk about going into the real world, it's hard to believe because it just seems like the other day, he was 16 when I was recruiting him in high school.
Speaking of recruiting, toughness is always associated with Cincinnati basketball, and as a former unathletic point guard, I can relate to that. I wasn't relying on my athleticism, had to play tough. Do you look for that in recruiting when you're out there on the circuit during the summer, trying to find those guys to fit your system?
Yeah, and I think sometimes the fallacy with that is guys that maybe just run and jump and can't shoot. So we look, guys like Troy and Gary Clark are both first-team All-League players, are competitively tough. They're both very humble, as you can tell, very humble, well-spoken young men, but competitively it is the toughness we're looking for. Guys that want to win, have a burning desire to get better and develop their game. And that's the type of toughness you look for whenever you're scouting it at any level. It's the guy that really wants to win and is willing to work. Because as you know, it's hard to become a good player at this level. The reality hits these guys in the face the day they walk through the door. If you can recruit a guy that you think is going to be able to rise to the challenge when it gets tough and compete and go through what it takes to become the player that he's become.
Coach, you've been a part of many NCAA tournament teams. What do you think is going to be the key for this team to make a deep run in March?
I think togetherness. I like our talent a lot. Two things. One is health. You got to be healthy. That's the most important thing. We dealt with bad injuries late last year. But togetherness. Whenever you have a team that has the talent, you got to make sure you're playing for each other. And if you're